Okay. Test. 1, 2. Hey, 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 hey. Better today, better today. All right, there we are. Welcome back to Anti-Disestablishmentarianism Nightly. Oh, wait, no, it's AD Nightly now. We switched up the name, make it a little more SEO friendly. I like that. I hope it's sounding a little better and you could actually hear it. Also, find us on Spreaker and, wherever you get your podcasts. You will be able to find this show stream. I'm going to keep it quick, short, sweet, and to the point here. Just about, daily updates about what's going on. Maybe some days I'll talk about, just life stuff, whatever, if you're interested. Either way, got a lot to get to in a short time to get there. So we're going to do what they say can't be done and read 5 stories and then do a little honest dating advice. Because I feel like I'm the person that should be giving dating advice. I just feel like that. Okay, here's a rough story. One that's happening kind of around the country at this point in time. And, I wrote a Substack article. Find me there, Ben Boquist, Substack.com. It's free. Subscribe. You could also donate, I suppose you could say, to, my passion, really, which is, I love writing, the arts. Been doing this podcast show for about 10 years, so that's fun. But either way, here is the story from CNN.com. First of its kind operation with local law enforcement leads to nearly 800 immigrant arrests in Florida. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement announced Saturday the agency and state law enforcement in Florida arrested nearly 800 people over 4 days in a massive multi-agency immigration enforcement crackdown. So that's happening pretty much everywhere. And not necessarily that it's completely a new thing in America. What was that Cheech and Chong movie? Born in West LA? Or is it East LA? I can't remember the name. But, I mean, it's nothing to laugh about. It's been happening for decades. And not to say that this isn't worse. I saw Piers Morgan kind of call out Michelle Obama for saying that the tactics are rough and keeping her up at night. Got a point with Obama deporting the most people as a president. But, again, this is just unnecessarily scaring people, especially, and it's way different just what's happening. I mean, Obama respected the dreamers and all that kind of stuff, and it's a scare tactic. It's psychological. It's really annoying to me. But okay, so the Department of Homeland Security highlighted the collaboration between federal and local law enforcement dubbed Operation Tidal Wave in a news release Monday. That really upsets me too when they give quippy names to their, raids and things like that. It's just like you just know there's a department that's like writing these names. It's terrible. But yeah, so that's pretty much the story. Big deportation in Florida, which again, a lot of times people, especially criminals, being put in jail and locked away is not a bad thing. But especially when you're not criminals and you're really a value to the community, it's just not a positive thing. When you're taking members of a community out of a community, who's going to do their job, who's going to fill the gaps. The immigration crackdown will, quote, create a less friendly, less welcoming, more prosecutory state, Kennedy said. And this is Kennedy from Florida. Just go to this article on CNN.com and read the whole thing yourself. Where worker shortages increase, where communities are less safe because they're afraid to report crime, where police departments are overburdened doing work that they shouldn't be doing. That sucks. overall, I wrote a Substack about this. So as I said, not cool. Just like, can we all be cool again? Is that possible? Here's another not cool thing, which, the so-called health department or Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy. Because, like, who was the guy before that? I don't know. I don't know who the Health and Human Services Secretary was in Biden's admin. And, people will be like, oh, yeah, burying your head in the sand. Good. Oh, my God. It's to that point where everybody's so annoyingly into everything. And, yeah, we got RFK, who's your weird uncle with his supplements type of thing, putting his vitamins in his water and whatever, blue light glasses into his pupils, whatever he does, that's what the reality is. RFK, and here it is, this is the Latin Times, RFK to end Godsend Narcan program that helped reduce overdose deaths despite his past heroin addiction. So the man himself who would have benefited from this, if he was in a different life position, maybe, class, let's say. Despite his own history of overcoming heroin addiction, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is backing plans to end a federal Narcan distribution program credited with helping drive a steep drop in U.S. overdose deaths. And you could read the rest of this at latintimes.com. So, yeah, and then here's my opinion, because that's the important thing to me, not this dumb story. But here it is. Here it goes. You can't kill an idea, and this falls under that category. Get your Narcan. Be vigilant by yourself. It sucks that they would deem this as apparently waste, or I don't know what his angle is here with this. Quite honestly, I would rather not assume that he wants people to die. So I'll just go ahead and not do that. Because, that's quite a rabbit hole. Only the second episode in here. How much time do I got on this anyway? 7 minutes in. All right, we're doing good. We're making good time. All right. God, here's another terrible story. It happened yesterday. So I was asleep. I told you, sleep during the day now. And, man, it's just a terrible, terrible accident. Who knows? 4 students killed when a vehicle crashes into after-school program site in Illinois, coroner says. So 4 female students aged 4 to 18 years old were killed in central Illinois on Monday afternoon while a vehicle struck a school camp program, authorities said, while the cause of the crash in Chatham, about 12 hours a mile south of Springfield, remains under investigation. Police said Tuesday it does not appear to be a targeted attack. The driver, 44-year-old Chatham resident Marianne Akers, was not in custody, officials said Tuesday. Sangamon County Coroner Jim Allman said in a statement Monday that the victims were 4 female students who were pronounced dead at the scene. 3 of the victims were outside the building, and 1 was inside, state police said in a statement. Let's see. Examinations of the victims' bodies were expected Tuesday as part of the investigation into the incident. Allman said they will be identified to the public after family members are notified of their deaths, the coroner said. Several others were injured, officials said, including a person who was taken to the hospital by helicopter. A vehicle drove into the east side of the building used by YNOT after school camp about 3:20 p.m., State police said it struck several people inside and exited through the building's west wall, the agency said. The driver, who was the only person in the vehicle, has been hospitalized but was uninjured, state police said Tuesday. Toxicology tests have taken place on the driver, and results are pending. State said the police crash remains under investigation. The police called it a terrible tragedy. Goes without saying. If you believe in the power of prayer, please take a moment and pray right now for the entire Chatham community. Absolutely, man. Just, these nightmares, they happen way too often, it seems. And you have the one that happened in Vancouver over the weekend. And, these just, And in this one, they say it doesn't seem to be targeted, but really just it's a loss for words. You got to give respect to the families, and man, like it just goes like to show you should not be doing things alone, even if it's driving. And I'm not trying to assume again what the cause of this was, but I would just throw a couple possibilities out there. Of they said the toxicology report's pending. Was there a chemical imbalance? Was there a reason why maybe someone shouldn't be behind the wheel alone? Whole bunch of factors. I can't imagine what that person's going through. And obviously the family of the deceased. It's just, there's nothing to be said, really, as far as, grief. It's, you never know when your time is, and that should never be anybody's time, when you're that young, trying to have fun and just be, alive. So, yeah, terrible news. Sometimes we'll do that. We'll give terrible news on this show because we keep it real, just to kind of daily going down the headlines here. And, all right. Yeah. Here's another one, a happy story to end before I tell you about relationship advice, because I'm your guy for that. APnews.com. Ex-U.S. Representative George Santos sentenced for over 7 years in prison or for fraud and identity theft. Disgraced former U.S. Representative George Santos was sentenced Friday to over 7 years in prison, sobbing as he learned his punishment for the crimes that led to his expulsion from Congress. Santos pled guilty last summer to federal wire fraud and aggravated identity theft, appealed for mercy in a federal court a short time drive from his old congressional district. He said through tears that he was, quote, humbled and, quote, chastened, and understood that he had betrayed his constituents' trust. Yeah. Guy. I offer my, I'm not going to say what he says. Let's see. I have a couple things about Santos, what he did. Here. Okay, so Santos' victims included a woman with brain damage and 2 octogenarian men. Prosecutor Ryan Harris told the judge. Defense lawyer Andrew Mansilla had asked for the judge for a sentence of 2 years, portraying Santos as a troubled figure who grew up in a broken house and was subjected to bullying throughout his life. As a result, quote, he built a man he wanted to be and not who he was, Mansilla said. He did that because he believed that the world would not accept him for who he was. Okay, that's a crazy defense because, they totally accepted him. He got to a pretty high office pretty quick. My theory is that they kind of liked what he was doing with, just not giving a fuck about stuff. Really terrible. That's where we're at, where it's like, if you could basically game the system and keep your mouth shut, you could get as high as you in a high of a position in government as a congressperson with little to no experience. So fuck that. That fucking sucks. And I do not agree with or abide or subscribe to any of that thought process. So that's just my thought on it. 7 years in the slammer for George Santos. A little much, but I mean, yeah, you get whatever the judge gives you. And now to close off here, we've got some honest dating advice. Thanks for watching and listening, if you're listening. And this is something I saw on Reddit. Man, Reddit, you're a terrible website sometimes. You bring out the worst in me and everybody who's on you. But sometimes, it's just people posting things. It's words on a thing. So that's cool. You find some good stuff. So here's some honest dating advice, and there's 9 tips here. So here's the first one. Worry less about if they like you and more about if you even like them. That's very true. I mean, you never want to really attract people who aren't your people anyway. And none of this applies to me because I don't know if I attract anybody now. I'm weird. I'm a weird example in the dating world. Maybe we'll get into that one day. But here's number 2. Rejection is not as personal as it feels. Liking someone or being liked is more about compatibility than inherent worth. Yeah, I mean, that's so true. Clicking with people, it's so hard, especially nowadays where it's like you meet people online, perhaps, before you meet them in the real world. And there's just so much perception and, like, I don't know, layers of things. Like, I feel like I have a 0% chance if someone knows my internet history of, seeming like a normal person, the normal, cool, chill guy. I think I am, but I don't know. That's why, like, I've always said, since COVID at least, that, like, not going to the bar has really messed up my chances of meeting somebody because, like, going out, like, that's the only place that I'm good, I can't online date. I can't do all that other stuff. But I said I wasn't going to make this about me, and here I am. But either way, that's another episode. So, again, compatibility. That's the most thing. Like, and that comes in a lot of different ways. And they'll get to these in these tips here. It's a good list. Qualified dating advice. Can't really source it, but I agreed with most of them. So 3, stop choosing what isn't choosing you. If it's not mutual, then why pursue it? That's 100% true reality. And that goes, for everything. It's kind of hard to tell for a lot of people. There's a lot of leading on, and especially with the game that we're playing, that we all play daily, about, just stupid bullshit. How it is, especially in the dating world. A lot of people are kind of leading things on, especially everyone's a salesman, everyone's a marketer, so you can't tell who's being honest and serious. So it's tough, but I don't know. I've got some philosophies. I think my philosophies will be number 10 on this list, so I could just power through the rest of these. So 4, ask yourself, would you be friends with this person if you weren't physically attracted to them? Be honest. And that's a big one too, because it's like, if you dated everybody you were attracted to, it might be a bad cycle. Ask yourself, would you I already said that. Get clear on what you want to give in a relationship, not just what you want to receive. What unique value do you bring to a partnership? Think about that. What are we giving? What are we giving people? Besides STDs. Check yourself. Know what you want from a potential partner. What are your non-negotiables? What are you flexible on? Then communicate your needs. Don't just think them. It's real good. Know what you want from your potential partner. What are your non-negotiables? What are you flexible on? And then communicate your needs. Don't just think them. Yeah, communication really comes down. This whole thing could be communication to me, as far as I'm concerned, or in communication, Stop being shocked by repeated behavior. For example, if someone has continuously shown you they aren't a good texter, stop expecting them to be. Notice patterns and believe them. It's a weird example. I think people kind of overdo this one a little bit as far as patterns go. I mean, but at the same time, priorities, I would say. Priorities are a big one. Patterns can be, corrected. And I feel like most people get into a pattern. For example, going to the gym. Maybe a lot of people who suffer with addiction get addicted to other things, healthy things. So that's one way to look at it and think about it. Not saying go around trying to change people, but maybe you already love somebody and they have toxic habits and patterns. So 8, you don't need to be perfect to be loved. Perfection isn't relatable. You can't connect to it. We all have flaws and vulnerabilities, and being able to own them is one of the most attractive things we can do. The right person will embrace the things you once felt you had to hide. How about that? Great advice. Number 8. Don't need to be perfect. Perfection isn't relatable. Don't even try. Don't even try to be perfect. It would be like some kind of jerk. Who's this guy trying to be perfect? Or gal? Or person? You're not. Number 9, your love life is one area of your life. Don't forget to nurture the rest. Significant other aside, when you visualize coming home to a life you love, what does that look like? Get specific. And this one's great. Again, I think your love life is one area of your life. Don't forget to nurture the rest. Significant other aside, when you visualize coming home to a life you love, what does that look like? Get specific. For me specifically, it is in this basement that I live in. I honestly love living here. We got a bunch of good space. It's cool. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I said I was going to give my ideas, my thoughts. Oh, I had one. It was a Reddit comment about in the relationship section that they turned the comments off on. And it was like one where this lady's like, oh, I'm really afraid of like seeming like a weirdo to this guy I really like. And my thing was, I know it's kind of the incorrect way, especially in the dating world. I don't think a dating guru would tell you this, but just be like unadulteratedly yourself without trauma dumping and without, being performative. And the right person should be like that. That tip in the honest dating advice should be compatible. If they are, then you kind of. I mean, I'm not saying go over the top with it. Tell them all your whatever, your business, but especially don't trauma dump. I mean, if it's something that you feel like you need to talk to outside of a therapist, and again, your partner's not your therapist, so. Man, maybe I should do a relationship show. I'm getting kind of good at this. But that's about all the time we got. It's only supposed to be under a half-hour show. So trying to keep them quick and relatable. I hope I have today. It's AD Nightly with yours truly, BB Daily. What's up? Have a great day. Talk with you tomorrow.